Welcome to OWAD today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking roof with the chimney on the top. Mian, I believe it is, with this radical. And we have a bunch of characters that is covered by this mian. Now, this time it's this box with a cross with the vertical line poking through both ends. In one of the earlier weeks, we went through several lookalikes with this boxy structure. And this one we didn't cover. This one, if you know Chinese a little bit, we have our God character with this part on the right. This by itself means shěn, and this part came from ancient times, the observation of lightning bolt. The zigzag lightning bolts in the sky was represented by this vertical line. It used to be curvious, and then and then here on the two sides are actually a pair of hands reaching top down. Okay, Chinese is a first-person perspective. So everything we're seeing the world from the first person standing at the bottom of the frame. If it's a pair of hands reaching from the bottom, we have hand symbols like that, or 5-finger or 3-finger. If it is reaching from the top, that you are going to see something like that, that's somebody else's hand. And in this case, because it's lightning, so it's Zeus in Greek mythology, equivalent, but of course Chinese will come up with their own names, their own imaginations of who is throwing the lightning bolt through the sky. So from there, it's related to nature, to the superpower, like beyond the human understanding and power. So it's related to this heavenly, actually the weather condition, and also it's related to spreading across the sky. So it's this character can be made into both stretch or God or divinity. Now, if we look at the traditional Chinese here, except the farm field there, that's kind of similar in here, but the top is totally something new inserted in there, and the origin and the meaning of it has nothing to do with this lightning bolt thrown by some divinity's hand. It actually is the hand or the paw of a beast. So here is one of the earlier renderings of how that print mark on the supposedly human living quarters, right? Because we have chimney, so it's cooking, living over there, that you were able to observe. This is the shěn's standardization of that. So the top here, this part, kind of mimicking the paw with the claws in there. And then the bottom here, even if it looks like a farm field, could be like the animal's footprint was found on the farm field. It's not really under your roof, right? Because that would be risky. Or according to scholars' interpretation, this farm field symbol represents the print itself that you observed somewhere. So that's the story of why it's examined. Because here we're talking about a human living quarters, and then some animal or some beast occurrence, right? You may not have a encounter, but you see the footprint. That means somewhere, sometime, you're going to meet somebody. And who is that buddy? I mean, it's not human, it's a beast. So that's the thing you need to look closely, to examine the footprint, to deduce what beast that is. What's the age, gender of that beast? So I believe in ancient times, people were still kind of living closer to nature. So a good part of the population still have the skill. Like nowadays, if I look at the paw print, I was told what that is. I have no clue what that is, but I did see that in the wilderness. So the origin of this has nothing to do with this shape. And this simplification is, again, kind of wipe out the original meaning. So we have to, in later days when I'm seeing this, I have no, there was no deeper thinking of how this character derive its meaning, because it's a combination of living quarters and the light bulb thing, and why that turned into examining. Now we know it's the animal's footprint. Okay, a few examples. 审视the 视 have this divinity or this prayer on the left side, and then we have human see. We have the human at the bottom, and about the top is supposed to be eyeball. So it's an eye observation, seeing attached to human. So human's observation next to this, this praying side. That means this human need to see very carefully and interpret the intention of the divinity carefully. So it's not just any kind of see, it's almost like a close observation, and then try to draw as correctly prediction. It's equivalent to oracle reading, right? So you want to make sure you find out everything about whatever the marks or message you receive, and human interpret that signal correctly. And that paired with examine. So both have this intensity. Either is animal paw print, or a divinity supposedly leave you some marks. Both require your full attention. So 审视 is a Chinese way to say assess. And even 审视 in contemporary Chinese, as well as assess in English, have this more, professional context, that you're trained, you're skillful, you're able to read whatever visual cues and interpret correctly. Okay, 审判 判 have this judging or making a decision about something. So it's mostly a legal term. 审判 together means judge. And of course, here Chinese separated into two steps. One is to examine the evidence, and the other one is to make a determination, verdict, or who is at fault, something like that. Okay, 君子审理. This is not in our common expression, but I think I like to share this, ancient practice. Was a phrase extracted from 史记, which is the ancient history note-taking. And it was quite a famous classical, history records. And over here it's talking about 君子, respectful people. That's kind of a gentleman English equivalent. Now I realize, okay, 君子 is kind of a gentleman, because a 君 is supposed to have a certain cultivation, cultured, well-read, well-traveled, well-mannered, and so they are what we regarded as not just everyday people. They are closer to the core of the culture. They're probably the intellectuals of their time. So that's 君子, gentleman. And 审理, 审, examine, 礼, rituals, manners, so how you do things. So 君子, would be more discerning if they were brought up in a certain way, if they were supposed to examine whoever that person they're dealing with, if that person was not follow the tradition of their social class, it would be kind of a teller sign to kind of tell the real deal from the scammers. I guess that's what the ancient advice would be like. If you're a gentleman, you're going to examine what people do, how they do it, their manners. So here is a cute, I don't know what that is, baby panda, examine the paw. So I guess it tied to this paw reading, and it's a beast. And that's how Chinese come up with the exam shěn. Thank you for your time. See you another day.